And we should be live. So welcome to today's Open Historical Map stream. This is going to be, I'm going to say, the first in a series this is a good window to use. This is going to be the first in a series which I'm calling Life Cycle Laboratory. Because one of the things we need to do is settle down some issues about how we manage life cycle issues in OpenHistoricalMap. I don't have the slightest idea why OpenStreetMap opened up there, but it did, but we're going to move it somewhere else. Cohoes, New York. There we go. That's where we need to be. So I've picked two sites for which we should have some pretty good data in terms of construction and change of use over time. And we're going to use them as basically, like I say, a laboratory for doing life cycle evolution. So what are the two areas? We're looking at the Harmony Mills, which was a textile mill built after the original Erie Canal in the early mid-1800s. There were a number of buildings in the mill, one of which has burned down and the others of which mostly survive today. They got repurposed as retail and warehousing and wholesale services, and now they've been repurposed again as luxury loft apartments. So life cycle, they've gone through several stages, including stages where they weren't used at all. And there's enough documentation that we can do pretty well with them. And then going north, we get into various change over time. Right here we have a hydroelectric power station. We have route of the enlarged Erie Canal here. This is all OpenStreetMap, so these are things that sort of survive today. Remnants of an old lock, pair of locks actually. The original Erie Canal was somewhere along the lines of the Power Canal. Continuing north, we're looking at the modern Mohawk River. I'm going to zoom out a notch here. One of the things about the Mohawk River that's relevant is that it is a substantially different river today than it was in, say, the 1800s. In the area around 1910 to 1918, they decided they wanted to decommission the old Erie Canal. And what they did was they built a new canal, which was named the New York State Barge Canal. Informally, it still tended to get called the Erie Canal, but it was no longer really that canal, not officially anyway. And that was true until about 10 years ago when, under new management, they changed the name back to the Erie Canal. But be that as it may, the Barge Canal's concept was different from the Erie Canal, because the Erie Canal was separate from the Mohawk River, but for a large part of its length was parallel to the Mohawk. And the Barge Canal, to the extent possible, placed a chain of dams and locks in the Mohawk and mostly brought the canal into the Mohawk, and the dams basically raised the water level. You would build the lock alongside the dam for the most part and manage things that way. So this is one of the dams. This is the Crescent Dam, which was built in that around 1910, 1911, 1912. This is the barge canal over here. This area is near Cohoes, New York, and Waterford, New York. And here there was an extended section of the canal that was basically built around the series of descending falls to the Hudson River. And they just chose to carry the locks away from the Mohawk for a period, not a very long one. But the point is that this dam was not here up until 1911, 1912. What that means is that the Mohawk River used to be a lot narrower through here. And in fact, when the politicians dedicated the new dam, one of them referred to all of this as Crescent Lake, because the community of Crescent is in this north side of the river up here. And this is the Crescent Bridge, and this is the Crescent Dam. The name didn't stick. Nobody calls it that today, but they did try and name it that. And we see down here that the barge canal basically started here in Waterford, came up across here, whereas the old Erie Canal basically passed through the city of Cohoes to the Mohawk and then followed along the south bank until it got to the Crescent Bridge area, when there was actually an aqueduct because it was higher than the Mohawk, and it crossed the Mohawk and then continued along the north bank of the Mohawk, which is still to a degree traceable to this day. So this is a issue of life cycle. I mean, we tend to think about life cycle in terms of buildings being built and going away, but you know, the life cycle of the Mohawk matters too, and the distinct change in water line is an important historical feature. Changes in water lines are something that we are talking about in OpenHistoricalMap right now, and we're maybe having a few decisions to make about some of this, and there's going to be some technology change needed because the OpenHistoricalMap has inherited OpenStreetMap's approach to shorelines, and so it's hard to model the oceans changing until that is evolved into something that works better for us. All things that are in progress. So what I'm going to be doing in the life cycle laboratory is I'm going to be starting to model the change over time of these entities, and some of this is well supported at the present time in OpenHistoricalMap, and some of it could use some improvement. And we know this, but I'm going to use entry of the data as a way to give us something that we can look at and say this needs to get better or worse. So for the Crescent Dam, my starting point is the historic American engineering record document, the HAER. What I need to go do here is I'm going to the OHM wiki. I didn't really get this presentation set up in advance, so I'm having to just go find stuff that I know is in here. So OHM projects. This is under waterways. Right at the moment, I'm the only person doing a waterway project, but there's room here for people to start adding their own. Somebody ought to do the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal. Lots of historic waterways in Europe that deserve documentation. You know, there's a lot to do. Anyway, so it's not directly linked here. Maybe I'm better off fetching this link. Yeah, okay, because I have a direct link right here. on my other computer, which should copy and paste over. That should do it. Okay, come on. Oh, that's what happened. It's a PDF. It's not a web page, so I actually already had it downloaded, but it's not in a browser tab. That's the two computers are set up slightly differently. So this document and the face of it has a lot of historical data. So it describes the various buildings, the dams as constructed, the foundation for the original powerhouse, description of the site, it has some history. Remarkably enough, the original contract number 14, was issued to Acme Engineering, and there is nothing in the historical record about roadrunners and coyotes, but I'm going to keep my eye out. I haven't seen all the records yet, so, you know, I will keep the community informed. So 1908 was when the construction started. Note that that's a global statement. There are actually 3 dams here. Looking at this in Jossam, the original course of the Mohawk went to the east of this, which was a rocky prominence, and continued south. This was a lowland area, but the engineering survey revealed that if they dammed this was going to flood, and so they took advantage of the fact that it was dry to build this first. You would have put in a cofferdam even so, because you weren't going to finish one before you started on the other, so you needed to be prepared to build in parallel in order to get it done. So we have dam A, B, and C. So looking at it again, this is dam A over here, dam B, dam C. Basically, the point of C was to provide a measure of protection against erosion south of this dam, and I don't really know what geology saw there that led them to think that was critical. But obviously, I'm not a civil engineer, and so, you know, I have to assume that they knew what they were doing, which sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Additionally, we'll zoom in here. To this end of the dam, and this is where modern imagery can be valuable in historic mapping. This is, yeah, map box will be fine. This is where the foundation of a building that is gone may be seen. This was an old powerhouse, and you actually can see some of the big pipes built into the surviving foundation. And this powerhouse was used briefly after the dam was completed. It was abandoned. It's not clear when they actually took the structure down. They left the foundation because it's tied into the end of the dam. So they just left it. And what happened was that a new powerhouse was built over here. And although it's not currently modeled in OpenHistoricalMap, we will probably do that as part of the life cycle laboratory so that we can show the construction of the new and the decommissioning of the old. Additionally, we're going to be looking at this stuff all through here because this was all basically a transition period in the construction, and this would not have been present in 1918. It would have been added in the later 1920s when this powerhouse was being built in order to replace the other one. Given the time of year this was taken, probably there was a bit of reduced water flow because the rocks are exposed. If I cycle through other imagery, yeah, I mean, this is foliage off. This is clearly winter, which is a drier season. But we see the dam across here. We actually get a sort of a good idea of the width of the dam, so you could conceivably model this as an area. And maybe we'll go back and model the dam as an area rather than just as a line, but not today. So what is on the agenda for today? Well, we'll show you a little bit of life cycle that's already done with the power plant. And this is going to need some work because some of the dates are a little uncertain. All we've done right here is created the outline, and we've given it a building yes and a name power plant and a start date of 1911. We may delete some of those tags and depend on the relation, but that's part of the evolution of the life cycle modeling, and it is a part of three relations. So the first one on the relation list, building yes, life cycle abandoned, that's a possible tag for this that I'm using for the moment. I have life cycle with statuses like abandoned, disused, open, whatever, and then a start date. So this is a speculative date of abandonment. I'm still researching this, but it's in an abandoned state starting in 1927, and since the foundation still exists, this is still active. Next one, building yes, end date 27, start date 1913, so life cycle active. And then finally we have building yes, end date 1913, type not type, life cycle construction, and start date 1911. So by using the relations above the outline, what we are doing is conveying at what stage of the building's existence it was in at any given point in time. And I know there is an alternative tagging scheme out there, a defunct proposal in OpenStreetMap, where you give the tag and then you specify a date range after the tag in the key portion of the key value pair. And I think that a lot of people in OpenHistoricalMap are really cool to that for various reasons. I mean, the proposal in the state it was left in is defective, and I think that it failed in part because there's not a lot of interest in OpenStreetMap in that kind of historic data. But I would tend to critique it for a number of reasons, irrespective of that. In OpenHistoricMap, we're interested in the data, but I just don't feel like that's a good approach. This relation approach just feels a little bit better, and we do need to resolve some things. Like, does building need to be in all of the relations, or can building just be in the basic unit? I mean, we're using type multi-polygon because we have not attempted any extensions to OpenStreetMap relation types, but maybe that's a thing we should do. In fact, that's a good note to enter into the wiki page proposal I entered. And actually, that's a good thing to bring up here. Where did I put the project's wiki page? I know I had it opened it up. Oh, cool. Internal server error at the Library of Congress. Well, we'll just kill that because I don't even remember what that was about. And that's right, I was actually had the project's wiki page here. So life cycle. So OpenHistoricalMap tags life cycle. It's not linked anywhere yet, and I should put that out there. But life cycle elements. Relation type extensions. And all I'm going to do is write that much. Add mention of and save that sucker out, because I'm actually using this proposal in some ways as a notepad, and if people want to talk about it, I'm on Slack, I'm on Discord, and there is a discussion tab here which currently has nothing in it, and I do keep an eye on those. So, in fact, probably I will, as part of Lifecycle Laboratory, change the type of these to a lifecycle type that I will invent for the sole purpose of OpenHistoricalMap. Anyway, in terms of what I think I want to do today, I would like to model a section of the old water line. And how I'm going to do that, somewhere here, yeah, Cahoe's 1898 topo. I grabbed this topo map off of the USGS Topo View website. This is the 1898 course of the Mohawk. I think there's a little bit of surveying error, so it's offset a bit, as I doubt that the river overflowed the top of this rock. But, you know, we can work with it. It'll get us somewhere. So, what the first thing we got to do, we got to go to this relation. Okay, we've got it up here in tags, and this is a 10-member Mohawk River relation. And let's download all the elements so we have them. Okay, these two inners are going to be small islands, and they're going to be on the upstream side of the dam, because I scoped that out already. So what we got to do, and this is we're going to set a notational start date, And I know the dam completion was about 1912, even though the barge canal completion was officially 1918, but it didn't happen all at once. And add a fix me tag, work on start date specifics. So in theory, in our world where life cycle is being conveyed, in our world where life cycle data is being conveyed in relations, this will be enough to cause this to disappear when the time slider is adjusted. I don't know that it's going to do that right now, but it will eventually. Now we're going to do something that is going to cause Jossum to whine at me slightly, which is fine. I expect that, you know. I'm a dangerous loose cannon. We're going to duplicate. What do you know? It didn't complain at me. It let me duplicate it without a warning. I wonder why I decided to give up. So this is the one that we finished with. Now, delete the fix me tag. Actually, set an end date. So that's a new relation. For the moment, we cannot easily tell them apart, but okay, this one has the end date. What we're going to be doing is some surgery on this guy. And this is fussy relation editing. So what's the first issue here? Okay, so the rocky promontory is one of the inners. So we're not going to explicitly delete this. What's the other inner? Is that guy. We're just going to delete this guy because he's not going to be part of the riverbank relation when we're done. So he's removed. And we'll go to the bank. Oh yeah, we can't make him current right now, so forget that. We'll go fix it later. So we're going to split this guy. Here and here. This guy goes in. This guy comes out. Because this is still riverbank for now. Also going to split him here. He's not going to be part of the riverbank because we're going to break this at the dam. These rolls are outer now. Let's split that at the dam. So he didn't get kept in the relation when I did that, so that's cool because I don't want him to be in the relation. But now I'm going to draw in some new riverbank. That's right, because this actually ends here. This will not harm the other relations, just shifting that point over. But now this is all very fragile stuff, and I don't doubt that I'm breaking stuff. Moving down, and he should connect up. So this is a 2-node guy, and he didn't survive into this. This guy needs to be removed. This guy needs to be added. So now that's actually complete. So those 4 are about right. And then this guy not in there. So that's complete, but now we got all this stuff we got to delete from it down here. Okay, that's not part of it. We could probably just completely delete all of this, but without checking, but something compels me to want to know what I'm deleting and why. Okay, and that. So I have now successfully modeled that change. Okay. Yeah. At times it's excessively fussy about conflicts. But let's see what it says here. Yeah, see the one on the left is the old one before I deleted all that stuff. So apply it. Now, when I click on upload, Okay. Yeah. Outer. Way contains a segment twice. So let's go take a look at that. Okay, so somehow we have done that here. So yeah. Well, that's way, okay, that's the correct way. So it's got a segment in it twice. It must have happened somewhere down here. Okay, I think I accidentally marked it valid. Okay, so there we go. Oh, God. That's somebody doing something really strange as an editor. Not actually a mistake I introduced. So do we fix it, or do we leave it that way even though it's a dumb mistake? So we made that into a proper island, and okay, we made sure that there's only one node there, and those should probably be combined. No, let's not bother with that. Okay, and then this is a typical JOSM error because JOSM's not time sensitive. It's complaining about the new relation and the old relation. And we're kind of used to that in OpenHistoricalMap because it happens all the time and it's not actually an error. So continue upload. Start modeling. Modeling pre-barge canal Mohawk River banks. – 1898 Cohoes quadrangle source. So the challenge here going forward is simply going to be that this isn't necessarily going to render correctly on OpenHistoricalMap until we get further along. So there's the powerhouse appearing. The dam is not rendering, and that may be because dams don't render yet in OpenHistoricalMap. So let's go to GitHub. OpenHistoricalMap issues. So we've got two issues here. First issue is a style sheet issue. Map style sheet request. Render waterway equal dam. Let's spell that dam, not dam. And let's give a link to where the dam is not showing up. And yeah, the dam is definitely in operation in 1930, so we'll set that on the time slider. Submit new issue. And this is not really an upsetting thing that it doesn't render. It's a new rendering engine with its own style sheet system. And there's stuff that it doesn't do yet. And, you know, everything is fine when you see these things. You ask for them and move on. Feature request. Feature request, lifecycle laboratory support. I am currently experimenting with lifecycle tagging using relations in the Crescent Cohoes, New York area at Crescent Dam and Harmony Mills. Yeah, I don't want to go into current workarounds because they're ugly and require duplicating ways. And we're trying to make editing not as painful as it would be if all we did was duplicate ways. Various potential tagging techniques are being investigated to show changes in sites over time by using an this mouse keyboard sharing software that I'm using has got serious problems, and I'm probably going to be switching back to Synergy in the near future because this is really annoying. By using an overlay of relations, carrying the C and give them a link to my wiki page. And then give them that link to Crescent Dam. And zoom out. Scroll down here to Harmony Mills. Submit new issue. And add a note. I'm hoping to present about this at SOTM US in April 2022. Because yes, this is why I'm doing Lifecycle Laboratory now, is because of my goal to present progress on this issue in 4 or 5 months' time. And so State of the Map US is coming April 1 through 3 in 2022. I have every expectation of being there and then standing in front of large groups of people shoveling. And maybe I'll see some of you out there too. And so we're going to call this the end of this stream. Showed you a little process. I've showed you that OpenHistoricalMap issues is a place to create issues for OpenHistoricalMap. Entered 2. And we'll see you all on the next stream. Tomorrow and through Tuesday are going to be Zwift session days, and then probably more Lifecycle Lab on Wednesday morning. So we're going to stop streaming for now.